I can return by...
Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay. So I want to cover here, right? We didn't explicitly mention it, but the gimmick of ReZero is basically he is reborn into an isekai world, but he has save points, and when he dies, he gets reset to his last save point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's honestly, you know why I might not have liked this trope so much? Because it reminds... So I had this old Nintendo game. And it was the Golden Compass Sega Nintendo game.
Mm-hmm.
And I swear to fucking God, it was chaptered like the book was, and I don't think I ever made it past chapter 7 of like 30 or some shit like that, because I just kept dying and getting reset to the same save point. That's what this felt like. Frustration. Anger.
Well, that's the entire thing. When it came out especially, it was a commentary on both isekai at the time, and it was supposed to be like a... Think about when you play a hard video game, what that would actually feel like to be the character.
Yeah, it's...
And that was the entire framing of the gimmick.
Yeah, and I get it. It's just I've seen it now outside of the games I've played it in. I've seen it in a couple other isekais that I've read recently. And I do mean recently, like actually in the last like 2 or 3 weeks before I watched it, unfortunately.
ReZero is one of those shows that got riffed on by a lot of isekai after it came out. Yeah. I haven't seen many of them, but I don't know if they replicate what I think ReZero does well with it.
Yeah.
Because, like, and this gets into characters especially. I think the characters, if you look at them from their very first appearance in the first loop they're introduced in, a lot of them they look as deep as a puddle.
Yeah.
And then as you reset, you see different facets of their character.
Yeah.
And you get to explore different angles without them feeling like they're expositing to you, because this is just Subaru experiencing different aspects of them as he's interacting with them differently.
You know
Yeah.
what, honestly, this kind of sets me up for? This sounds like it would be a very good, like, light novel types scenario.
Well, it is a
So-
light novel. Do you mean visual
Or,
novel?
yeah, visual novel.
That's what I would say.
Visually, because it is a light novel, but I meant visual novel.
So actually, in the last like 3 weeks, right before I watched this, I've read 2 or 3 webtoons, right? Or, web novels, webtoons. And they've specifically been, and this is because I am a huge raging pile of horse manure, they've been Otome game based. And they're like that fantasy historical isekai, like Reincarnation, Reborn, whatever. And they've done this same thing where she has like save points and stuff. And they've done the same thing with character development, where she's like, she knows very little about some of the characters, but every time that she resets, she restarts all the routes, and she's like, okay, well, let me try this other dialogue path, or let me do this other thing, and learns more and more about the characters as she goes along, and they're very different from the game the way that she thought the first playthrough. And they each have, like, evolving personalities and that kind of thing. And that's what this felt like. It's just, like I said, I'd already seen it several times at this point.
The other thing I think the series does, it's a little bit more subtle in this arc especially, but you'll see it brought up a little bit more in the next arc for sure. But it's subtle here, and I do see it here. It's, and they do call it out here, too. It's that Subaru, as he resets more and more, especially in the second arc of this submission, begins to treat it a lot less like he's living it, and a lot more like he's playing a video game, and it gets noticeable.
He starts trying to game the system, and I kind of hate it.
But you see that wear away on him because it's not a video game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we can just leave that in. He gets a little philosophical with the circumstances of him dying and everything like that.
Which, I mean, is kind of an interesting commentary, because when you think about it, right, like, if I got put in this situation, I don't honestly think I'd have the same... I'm not sure I'd do what he's doing. I mean, maybe I'm not as... obviously I'm not the same person he is, but honestly, if I realized that I was, like, dying and resetting when I got involved with, like, this girl and this, like, huge steaming pile of horse crap that's going on, I probably, honestly, at, like, the 3rd or 4th reset would have just gone the other fucking way.
But
Just
that
been
speaks
like,
to
nah,
his
fam.
character more than...
Yeah. Like,
I guess it also speaks to your character.
yeah.
But...
No, I would have been like, let me go find a guild and do some jobs, earn some money, and then maybe I'll be willing to take a look at what's actually going on in the world. But
that
until
gets
then,
into very gaming the system there. Like,
yeah, but at the
it's
same...
not like that quest line closes off. No, she still dies.
Yeah, but at the same time, I just can't... I don't know. Like I said, I think he's a lot more altruistic than I am, like, in his heart, because I don't think that after dying in such a horrific way, I'd be willing to just give that another try once I realized it was kind of like game mechanics. And maybe that's because I'm a chicken. Maybe it's just because I have a sense of self-preservation or something. But I don't know. He kind of, I wouldn't do what he does. It made it feel a little, kind of looking at it, I was like, why don't you just do this other thing?
Well, that's an interesting point that you bring up, but I'll save it for free thoughts because it's more applicable with free thoughts.
Okay. And honestly, I kind of...
And he also does at one point go like, maybe I should just go the other direction, and then he doesn't. He makes the active moral choice there.
Yeah. But also, at the same time, you know, I mean, I don't want to continue this line of thought, but I also want to make the comment that he's not looking at a bigger picture kind of thing. He's looking very, very small and narrow. I don't want to continue on that, though. But I will say... Oh, yeah. Okay. I know a lot of isekais and TV shows do this, but I kind of hate the fan service.
Welcome to anime.
I also kind of hate that you have him... It feels a little bit split personality to kind of have him bouncing between, like, imagining horrible things about Rem and Ran to, like, actually being, like, respectful, crushing boy in love, then to being, like, nah fam, then back to, like...
I mean, you are losing your sanity, and that's probably the only way he's keeping it at that point.
Yeah, but I don't know if... Yeah, I did not like that very much. But that's, I think, a character thing for me.
Yeah, it's a character thing. I mean, you're not really, in all instances, supposed to like Subaru as a character, and that's more apparent in the later seasons. But that is kind of a thing with his character.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just doesn't seem like the greatest human being, but then again, he's being killed time and time again. I can understand if he gets a little fucky-wucky.
Yeah.
You know? I get it.
Well, you also see a little bit here that a lot of what he's saying and doing is him trying to put on a charismatic act.
Yeah, but then there's that scene in episode 2 where he's just like, whoever's designing the game really knew how to pick your outfit, looking at her dress.
Well, at that point, he was still treating it like a game.
I know. It's just...
And he is still treating it like a game there, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, like...
Because he's coming into this effectively at the male side of where you're coming into this as a viewer, having read so much isekai. Where he's read a shit ton of isekai. He says it like... The series opens up with him like, I'm in another world! He knows he's in an isekai.
Yeah.
And then the world chews him up and spits him out.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Still, I feel like I'd be less concerned with horny and more concerned with living. To be honest. I don't know. I don't know if that's just me, but he seems a little too horny to be worried about living.
I mean, with the risk of death at, like, freaking foots away, I'm pretty sure at least something's gonna happen there in terms of the bodily response.
I don't know about you, but the fear of imminent death does not get me hot and heavy under the collar. that is not not a yes button for me.
You know, it apparently does, though, for the bowel eater, so you know.
Look, I can respect people who are like, oh my god, I'm gonna die, let me live a little, but I feel like I'd be more proactively involved in trying to not die than getting my rocks off with whoever's nearby. Just a commentary.
He also never actively does something. A lot of this is treated like fleeting thoughts, which, spoiler alert, guys have those.
Yeah, no, that's fair. And like I said, he doesn't actually ever do anything like weird or creepy, which is why it's not the biggest deal for me.
He says weird and creepy shit, but he never does weird and creepy shit.
Exactly. Which, you know, I understand. People have thoughts.
He seems like... he's the kind of person where the first thought that comes to his mind, he just says it out loud.
We know people like that.
Yeah, no filter in between the brain and the mouth. I feel that. I do. So Rem and Ran, is that their names?
Rem and Ram.
Rem and Ram.
The difference is a vowel.
Look, it's hard to hear sometimes Ram.
Yeah.
It's easier to hear Rem.
Yeah.
To be honest, when they say the names, it's harder to tell Ram apart. Although I will say, I do actually know Rem entirely because of Connor.
Yes.
Fuck Connor. I had not even watched ReZero, but like the sheer amount of Rem shit that he purchases because Rem is his waifu. led me to already knowing which one Ren is.
The old days of the ReZero waifu wars. Those are long over now.
Man, that brings me back. God, I feel old now.
On that matter, do we want to go into waifu wars?
I figured we'd talk a little bit about some of the other characters, because we've talked a lot about Subaru, but we've barely mentioned Amelia. And that's why I brought up Rem and Rand, because I thought we'd talk about them a little, and then Lord of the House, and then Reinhart and Phelps.
Yeah.
Maybe in that order. So Rem and Rand.
Yeah.
I like them a lot, actually.
Yeah.
They seem like the start of a funny comedic duo.
Well, their entire character at first is portrayed as, oh, this is just a 2D funny maid gimmick.
Yeah.
And then as the time goes on, you get more, their character becomes a lot less two-dimensional.
Yeah.
And then I think it's by like episode 5 you get the whole backstory on Rem and Ram's like origin and everything like that, and how they came to be the way they are now.
Like when I'm talking about characters that are that are as wide as a puddle, deep as a lake, I'm talking about Rem and Ram in this arc especially.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're funny though. I enjoyed them. I enjoyed all the jokes about his non-existent skills.
Yeah.
That was pretty funny.
I did enjoy that. Like the two, I love Ram. Just the fact that every time she's on screen, she's just taking a dig at Subaru.
Yes.
Yeah.
We love our verbally abusive waifus.
Yeah.
So next is Amelia.
She's boring in these arcs. I gotta be honest here.
can't.
I don't really care for her in these arcs at all.
No.
I see aspects of the storytelling that she works for, but other than that, she's a character that you want to see. I like her later in some of the other arcs, but this arc especially, she's just
she
not
lost
there.
an insignia signifying that she's supposed to be one of the candidates for the next literal king of this empire to a dirty street rat.
Yep.
She has no use in this entire fucking arc.
Yeah.
She is a blonde gigolo. That's all she is. She is a fucking blonde placeholder.
She has one of my favorite lines in the arc, but she doesn't have. She's not a great character.
She does nothing. It doesn't
No.
fucking matter.
No.
She literally.
She's Princess Peach in this character.
Yes,
Yeah.
she is very much Princess Peach. Okay.
I do gotta say, I do want to bring up that line though. She has a great line that I wish she had, but I wish she had a deeper character. The line I love is when she tells Subaru off for always saying sorry as opposed to thank you, and people go out of their way to do something for him. Because I think that, for me, that's an actually very real moment as far as relatable issues that people tend to do.
Look, it's a great line. One line does not a character make. Great
No,
line,
but I think that line encompasses a lot of the theming of the show at this point.
Yeah, but it
This
doesn't
arc
have any effect
especially.
on her as a character, to be honest, at this point.
No.
Like,
but
yeah,
this is-
honestly, if that had been delivered from literally anyone, it still would have been a great line that affected the
But
theming
it kind
of
of
the show.
had to be delivered from her character at that point in the series.
Not really. It could have come from anyone, and it would have been the same good line.
Well, no, for it to come from anyone, it has to be someone Subaru has constantly,
Could have come from Reinhart.
It really couldn't have. He's not present enough in the show to do that.
Not yet.
Amelia's the only consistent through the show for all the arcs that could really achieve that with.
Could have come from Rem.
Not
Rem's
at
too
this
hostile
point,
earlier on.
and not at this point in the character.
Yeah,
arc,
later in the story maybe, but early in the story, Rem actively suspects Subaru of being a spy.
Yeah, I don't
Or
know.
Sasha.
Amelia's a boring character, don't get me wrong. I will be the first to say she's a boring character. But that line is something that's integral to the show, in my opinion. And really, at this point in the story, could only come from Amelia. I just wish they did more with her character earlier on.
Yeah, well, they didn't, so...
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but that's just the way this particular season of the show ended up playing.
Yeah. Yeah. So next is Lord Roswell.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I love Lord Roswell.
I
wanna
love
say
Roswell,
this.
honestly.
He gave me that same vibe that I actually had with the Fate Grand Order character, like the Jekyll and Hyde one.
Jekyll and Hyde?
No, I know who he's
Doctor-
talking about. The Green Leprechaun Man.
Yes.
What
What?
the fuck?
Lay?
Yeah, Lev.
Lev. Yeah, he gave me that kind of same vibe.
I can see that. Although Lev has been very not present in Fate Grand Order as far as you guys have seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Roswell. Fucking love Roswell.
I just
Honestly.
love how openly demisexual he is.
Yeah.
Pan.
Yeah.
Very, very pan. This man is a literal icon.
Yeah.
Like, actual icon.
Hey, you got your fan service.
Yes, I did get my fan service.
That scene when Subaru's in the bath, like...
It will be inserted with sound into every one of these 3 episodes.
Yeah.
Because, oh boy.
Why are you in here? I own this place, and as you are currently under my employment,
I
I own
you.
too.
Yeah?
Oh, goodness.
He's so camp in the best way.
Yeah.
Okay, and then there's Reinhart and Phelps are the other 2 characters that we really deal with.
We only really see them for like
Old
the
Man
first 2.
Rom.
Well,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
but I lump him in with Felt.
Yeah, because they're kind of inseparable. In
I
their
don't
own
think
way.
we
Are they gonna come back later?
Yes.
I assume
Yes,
Reinhart
yes.
does, at least.
Reinhardt does for
Okay.
sure, and Felt does later as well.
I don't think we get a lot of any of them in this arc. Like, we get stuff from them, but they're mostly superficial to what Subaru needs to be doing.
Yeah, well, I mean, we do get some from Felt, right? Like, we learn that she's kind of down on her luck. Obviously, she's not living the high life.
Yeah, it's just
You
it's a
know.
commentary on high society. For
Yeah,
sure.
but we also see that, like, she is a fair person, right? Like, she does value fairness, even though she is going for, like, the best deal she can possibly get. It's because she has to. But she values fairness. And she's also not one to betray someone who actively helps her in some way, you know? Like, there's a really touching moment where, Subaru tells her, you know, I'm gonna make a distraction and you're gonna fucking run because you're the youngest of us.
Yeah.
You know, and you can escape.
Yeah.
And she's just, you know...
I can tell she's supposed to be a commentary on the poor versus high society, but we don't
Yeah.
really see a lot of high society up to that point.
No, but...
And I think that's kind of where that first arc with her doesn't hit as hard as it could.
I don't know. I think it sets up a pretty good character to then be used later
Oh
on.
yeah, no, later
Especially
on.
because she disappears off with Reinhardt mysteriously.
Yeah, later on. She will come back,
Yeah.
and I do like what they do with her later on more. But
Yeah.
here, she's just there, in my opinion.
I kind of like how Reinhardt is like... I don't know. They kind of make the joke about him being a very upstanding knight, but then he's like fully willing, because he's off duty, he's like kind of willing to just let things slide by if there's nothing like morally wrong with it, even if there's something legally wrong with it.
Yeah.
So that was pretty funny.
Yeah. The only reason he even took Felton was
Some
because
undisclosed mystery reason.
mystery that me, Vorn, and Knick Knack all know.
Of which Seki is very left out of.
Yeah, but
We'll get to it very soon, I'm sure.
yeah.
But with that being said, now we can go into Waifu Wars.
Waifu Wars! Waifu Wars! Waifu Wars!
Knick-knack.
Obviously, it's Lord Roswell or Rosichi.
I'm gonna be with Connor on this one. I'm going for Rem.
Yeah, I'll go with Amelia. What? I need to freaking differentiate from you guys somehow.
I have 2.
Pick one.
I have 2.
Pick one.
I have 2.
Pick
one.
No.
Just shout it out.
I have 2, right? I have a serious one, right? An actual
one of them the
husbando.
puppy?
No.
Okay.
No. I have a serious husbando, and then I have a joke husbando, but they are both my husbandos. It's Reinhart and Roswell.
I assume Reinhardt's the serious one.
Reinhardt's the serious one for now, because I do actually like his character. But Roswell, I just can't get over the sounds.
Oh.
No. From that scene. If you listen to the background sounds, you can
Balls
hear
smacking.
wet flesh smacking against wet flesh. The absolute cojones of including that so clearly has to be a wife.
That actually might have only been in the director's cut, because they censored a fair bit in the...
Look,
original
then
one.
I'm glad we watched the director's cut, because that was absolutely godlike.
You know, I think it was also a matter of, because at least when I watched it on Verve, even a lot of the gore was uncensored and stuff like that.
Yeah, in the original version, they did censor some of the gore a little bit more.
Okay,
Yeah.
so watch the director's cut on Verve, then you
Yeah.
get to see the gore.
But I gotta comment on Reinhardt. I don't hate him. He's obviously there to be the stand-in for that typical character archetype, but that's the character archetype they mocked in Konosuba with the I'm the hero archetype.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he has more character than the hero does in already.
Well, that's because the hero in Konosuba was a side character,
I know.
a gag character. But that's the archetype that they mocked there, and for me, that's like playing a lawful good paladin in D&D. You're basic.
Don't you mean a human
bit.
fighter in D&D?
Sorry, a human lawful good fighter in D&D.
You're a basic goddamn bitch.
Look,
Yeah.
just because it's basic does not mean that it's not still good and valid. There's a reason why white girls drink pumpkin spice. I might not like it, but it is a valid and legitimate drink that tastes good.
You know, you're right, and I'm a basic bitch. I hate to admit it.
There is nothing wrong with being
I never
basic.
said there is nothing wrong. You're just basic.
Yes, but the way you say it with that preface makes it sound like it has a negative connotation.
There's nothing wrong with being a basic bitch.
You a bitch.
I'm not gonna complain. I had a pumpkin spice latte earlier this morning.
See, Realm is our local white girl, and that is fine.
I don't know if I should feel complimented or insulted.
Especially coming from the white girl who doesn't like pumpkin spice.
I'll just put it this way. I find him about as boring as I find Amelia at this point.
You probably also like sweater weather. Valid, comfortable, and good.
What? I don't understand.
He made a comment about Amelia. I continued the joke about you being a white girl.
Yeah.
Also,
weather?
I at least find. Huh?
What is weather? Come on, define it.
Sweater weather is when it's cold enough outside for you to wear a comfy, cozy sweater and not overheat.
I overheat all the time.
Yeah,
Which is why
fudge
cold
that.
weather is the best.
Okay, I'm gonna be equal opportunity here. Not just dig on the girl for simping for the guy. I'll dig on Vorn too for simping for the basic bitch girl.
I differentiate from you guys somehow.
But they're both. You guys are playing a lawful good human fighter.
Hey, you know, but you know what good a lawful good human fighter is? You get the human +1 to everything, and you get to be a fighter, and fighters are really, really fucking good.
Then play chaotic neutral.
I'm gonna at least side more with Seki here. I think Reinhardt's at least a better character in this version or in this arc than Amelia is.
Yeah.
Besides, we forgot to mention one character that comes with Amelia, who is infinitely more interesting than Amelia.
Puck!
Oh, I forgot about Puck. God damn it.
Okay, we all love Puck. Puck is godlike.
Yeah.
Puck is the best thing ever.
Puck is actually.
We also
God.
actually forgot to mention the girl with the curly hair, Lolita.
Oh, Beatrice.
Entirely.
Oh, I love Baco.
Yeah, we actually didn't talk about Beatrice and Puck at all, and I think Beatrice is really funny, but I really love Puck, so...
I love them both, to be honest. They just have, like... Oh, God.
Beatrice a bitch. I like her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't get much depth into Beatrice, though.
I don't know. She's an angry, spiteful little
We
pastel
get a fair
Lolita.
bit of death, and especially in that one arc where... Not the arc, but that loop where she protects Subaru, and even after she doesn't need to.
Yeah. Puck is... I like Puck. He's great comic relief, and he sort of... You can tell he sort of understands Subaru without actually saying that he understands Subaru. So...
Yeah. Also, Puck is just so chill.
Yeah.
Like, he is the chillest of characters in the show. He's just like, you want to pet me? I will be your friend forever. Pet me.
Puck is the only reason they didn't instantly lock up Subaru.
Yeah.
Because he's so chill because he can read the emotions on everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I
So
fucking
he's like,
love
Subaru,
Puck.
you're weird. You know stuff you probably shouldn't, but also...
You're chill.
You're chill.
You're chill.
Yeah.
You're just chill.
Yeah, fam, you chill.
Otherwise, let's be honest here, Subaru looks goddamn sus.
Yeah.
Bum, bum,
Like,
bum, bum,
there's
bum,
a fun
bum.
video on YouTube out there that just, like, picks apart only the stuff that canonically happens at this point. And, like, Subaru makes no goddamn sense to the people around him, and it's actually funny to see the characters react to it. Like, it makes more sense why Rem goes out into the woods following Subaru, and he's like, let me bum at your place for a bit. I'm gonna go off into the city, now I'm gonna suspiciously watch the mansion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, with a
it
knife.
makes sense, and I have some game experience with that, in that I play a game where you can make certain choices to get through certain stages, but then once you get to endings, sometimes you have to backtrack and change your choices because the choices you made like 3 chapters ago do not facilitate the ending you wanted in chapter 5.
Here's a fun thought. Subaru can't do that.
I know, but that's what I mean. Like, if I couldn't do that, I'd be, like, fucked in that game. Also, I'd make some real weird choice combinations. So, you know, sucks for him, but...
Yeah.
Because we're getting to see the whole picture. Like, we see all of his mental, you know, anguish and issues and, like, thought processes. We're seeing, like, his math worked out. Everyone else is just seeing the problem and then the answer he gave. Not the correct answer, but the answer he gave.
Subaru is just Kazuma if Kazuma were forced to actually give a shit.
Subaru is Kazuma if Kazuma couldn't do whatever he wanted,
Yeah.
Yeah. If, like, Kazuma had, like, a set of things he needed to do. Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, they're both commentary on...
And the worst part is, like, Subaru's kind of this is his own fault. Like, he could have chosen to walk away and he didn't. So he has chosen to
I'd
put
argue
himself
he's a
on
better
this
person
path.
for it, though.
Yeah.
Like, Kazuma would not do that. Kazuma would just say, fuck it, I'm going to the guild, you're gonna die.
Yeah, exactly. So choices were made, things happened.
But that doesn't change the fact that both of them come from that neat, incelish Japanese culture.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's funny, though, that Subaru seems to be the better socializer out of the two, though, if I had to take a pick.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think part of that, right, is that Subaru goes into this thinking that there's some sort of, like, storyline that he's going to be interjecting in.
Or
and
that
Kazuma just kind of gets stuck in beginner town, and he's like, well, why do I ever have to leave if I can just, like, chill here?
Yeah.
Subaru's not really put in a beginner town, so to say. It's a different isekai world, right?
It is a different isekai world, and I'll cover it a little bit more in Free Thoughts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because the world itself changes what they would do anyways, because if you're put in beginner town, that's very different from being dropped into the capital city of this empire and then immediately have an encounter.
In the middle of a political turmoil.
Yeah, immediately have an encounter with someone very integral to this turmoil, etc. You know?
Yeah.
Well, he gets killed, like, 5 minutes into his, like, first restart?
Yeah, because he goes
like
down
so.
the...
No,
goes down
it's
the...
No, he actually survives the first restart.
He survives the
Yeah.
first restart for a pretty long while. It's not until he runs into the battle leader when he's trying to recover the insignia.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, because Amelia actually helped him with the thieves.
Yeah.
Which, if you're into scary, actually can kill you waifus, Bowel Eater.
There's Bowel Eater.
Actually can kill you, has been
And will
proven.
kill you, and will find sexual pleasure in killing you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're into that, please don't tell us.
Yeah.
You might have to report it. We don't know.
Please
Get help!
Yeah. See a therapist.
I don't want to know what your vor fetishes are.
Yeah. Extreme masochism is not something we deal with.
Alright, with that being said, I think we can move into Free Thought, so try harder, everyone. Unless you
Yeah.
guys have something else you want to say.
Like, comment, subscribe.